Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise. And we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer, dear listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. I welcome you once again to another invigorating episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We bring you cutting edge information in the entrepreneurship space. We're always looking for talent. We're always looking for entrepreneurs who make a difference, game changers and difference makers. And we have such one person today in Miss Kagiso Madibana. Welcome to the studio, madam.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yeah, do us the favor
Okay.
of giving us your background and sharing a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I have over 11 years of work experience. This ranges from journalism, lecturing, research, social entrepreneurship, and obviously I've self-published three books. And
One of which is right here.
Oh, yes, yes. And I'm obviously going into the shoemaking business.
Okay. You say it's obvious. How long have you been in the shoemaking business, and exactly what are you doing in that manufacturing business?
Well, when I say it's obvious, it's because we've been putting out testers or fillers on social media of the shoe that we designed ourselves. This came about because we started a charity called Nayang Association.
Nayang.
Nayang, as in
means
to give.
Yeah.
Yes, in 2012. This charity was just to donate school shoes to kids in remote areas of Botswana, as well as sanitary pads. And over the years, we've seen that we've been buying school shoes from, I won't mention the stores' names, but these stores are South African franchises. So now we wanted something that was local. And that's how we got the idea to start our own shoes.
You're going to talk about social and creative entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Can you define that idea? What is social and creative entrepreneurship?
Okay, so I like to talk about them separately. Social entrepreneurship, this is business with an impact, and then creative entrepreneurship is when now we go into the art of publishing, of writing creative stories, telling our own stories. Yeah.
That's interesting. How's your academic background? You went for training for what specifically?
Oh wow, that's an interesting question. So when I was at UB, the University of Botswana, I was doing environmental science and English. I had a double major. And then it was during that time that I realized that I didn't want to do anything with my environmental science. I was more interested in journalism. So I started interning for the Sunday Standard when I was doing year 2. And then they kept me up until I finished school, and then I was employed permanently, but only for a year. I was awarded the Chevening Scholarship from the UK government to go study for a master's in communications and media, because now that was my area of interest. So I went to Cardiff University, did 1 year, then I was back here, then I was teaching media lecturing at Lerumo.
Okay, let me understand the Nayang Association.
Yes.
It's moved from being an ordinary charity to become an enterprise, a social enterprise. Can you describe it as a charity and describe what it has become and explain the transition?
Great. So when we started in 2012, it was a group of young professionals. You know, we're all working in different places, and we wanted to give back to our communities. This is how we found out that there's a great need, because we were getting in touch with teachers, a great need for school shoes. Everywhere you go, you'll be surprised. Even in Gaborone, where Broadway's primary, that we went to donate school shoes with the SA High Commission, there's a need everywhere. So we wanted to address that need.
For students from what year to what year?
Primary school. We focus on primary school because we feel like when you're that age, you know, there's nothing that you can do, because we don't want to be enablers. We want to help those who can't help themselves. So that's why we focus on primary school mostly. So we were using money from our own pockets. We were knocking on company doors for CSR budgets, but that gets tiresome. We were coming up with activities, hiking activities, taking people to old Palape Hakiti, if you know Malaka. To go show them the ruins, different places, so that we can make money for the charity. But we wanted to expand as well, because we're seeing now, as much as we were growing, we're getting more and more people, especially teachers reaching out and saying our kids are walking about 5 kilometers to school without shoes. And we wanted to help more people. And then we thought, how do we address this need? This is how we came up with coming up with our own school shoes, setting it up as a business. Now this is a business. It's called Souls for Souls.
Souls for Souls.
Yeah. Soul.
SOLES.
Yes. For souls.
SOULS.
Yes.
Interesting choice of words.
Yes, indeed. So every pair that we sell, 20% goes towards the charity, so that it can sustain itself.
Where did you source the shoes from?
So when we started, like I said, we really wanted to focus on the local market. We wanted to support community projects. But unfortunately for us, we had a specific design in mind. We have the blueprint of the design. We were taking it to smaller community projects, but unfortunately we didn't get the quality that we wanted. Yes. So for now, what we're doing is we're sourcing it from outside. But that is just so we can get into retail stores, get our name out there. But we have a much bigger plan, which is to set up a shoe manufacturing plant here in Botswana.
Okay. Now, the name of the enterprise that you formed,
yes,
you said it's Soul for Souls.
Yes.
How big is it and how established is it now?
Well, we just started, but recently we've had Engine Botswana come on board. They've already pledged to buy 321 pairs.
Who's the Engine Botswana?
Engine Botswana, Engine Marketing Botswana.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes. The oil company.
The oil company, yes. And Mogobe is also trying to get shoes for kids in her past constituency. We've had individuals coming up to us as well. They want the school shoes. So we've seen, we had a model where we were asking for pre-orders, but we've seen that because we are sourcing shoes from outside, and because of the effects of COVID, you know, turnaround time is about 40 days. No one is willing to wait 40 days for school shoes, especially for kids. They
not in winter, definitely.
No, definitely not. So we now have a local investor who wants to fund the first 500 so that we can get it to retail. Yes.
Okay, you willing to disclose the name, or it's confidential?
Yes, I can disclose the name. I think he'll be fine with it, even though I didn't ask. His name is Girish Ramakrishna. He's still the CEO of Botswana Cricket, but he used to work for Grant Thornton as a business development manager.
And he's willing to sponsor up to 500.
Yes.
Are you daring other entrepreneurs out
I'm
there?
daring other entrepreneurs to
make
do
your
the
pitch.
same.
Make your pitch.
Okay.
Talk about the shoe. Here's the shoe right here.
As you can see, the Nayang school shoe is 100% genuine leather. This won't take up to this will take up to 6 months for a child, taking into consideration the fact that their feet grow. They're really growing, and it's only $250, and 20% of that goes towards Nayang Association, which will then be able to have more impact or impact more lives, because not only do we give school shoes, we give sanitary pads, we build ablution. We recently built an ablution for a charity, Sese. They didn't have, they were just using one pit latrine, and they have over 60 kids there.
So how do other entrepreneurs get involved?
Well, it's very easy to get in touch with us and then find a model that works for you, because some people just want to donate. They don't want the school shoes for themselves. They don't want to buy for their kids. They want it to be sort of a CSR project. Yeah.
For those who don't know, CSR...
corporate social responsibility. But I believe more in corporate social investment, because this will go a long way. You're not just buying school shoes for your child.
Do entrepreneurs who get involved with you get their names promoted in some way?
Oh yes.
So can you explain that, how that works?
I think maybe this is how we've been able to grow as an association. We use social media for good. We are very active on Facebook, on LinkedIn, which we believe our target market is where our target market is. So every time a donation is made, especially by, let's say, Mogobe, we put it on social media, we declare it, and we give your company publicity, because like I said, I was a journalist for 8 years, so I have a very good network with the media.
Okay. Let's talk about publishing, because you are a self-published author.
Yes.
I want you to talk about what drew you to publishing, and then what the pros and cons are of the trade, if you call it a trade.
Well, I mean, publishing a book has always been a dream of mine since I was a child. My father encouraged me to read at a young age, even outside. Like, I was reading book To Say With Love when I was 8 years old, but people were reading it at secondary school, and he would always make sure that I comprehended what the story was about. So he gave extra time in me reading. So that's where the love for reading and writing came about. So as I grew up, I realized that unfortunately, there's not much of a market for writing in Botswana, especially if you want to publish. I mean, the Macmillans were there, but usually they take educational materials. It's very hard to find a publisher for creative stories, especially because of where they're going to sell them to is the Botswana market. Are we readers? That's a question. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that was a question that we were having, and then I
can tell you that we're not as readers. We're not as readers to the extent we should be.
That's true. That's true. But I appreciate you saying that. I didn't say it.
Why are you avoiding to say it?
No, I'm not avoiding to say it because for me personally, I've seen a lot of support. A lot of people, I've used my social media to market my books, because like I said, going into self-publishing, this is something that I saw that black authors were doing in South Africa. And I thought, why can't I do it here? So I learned the whole process through just researching on the internet, seeing what they were doing. The whole process from writing to editing to designing a book cover. Not that I did it myself. I knew that you need to engage someone to do that for you, to now getting an ISBN code, to getting it on the market. Oh, and it's an ISBN code is what you get from a national library. If you don't have an ISBN code, you cannot sell your book. It cannot get on the market. The Botswana National Library has to allow you to because there's a certain standard.
What are the books you've written and what are they about?
Okay. Well, I have 3 books. The first one is called Baring's Journey. Baring's Journey was published in 2016. Baring's Journey, as you can see on the corner there, it says dedicated to every child who was told they would never be good enough. Because when we went around these settlements, the remote areas, we met kids who just didn't have dreams. They had given up. They had given up to that vicious circle of poverty, and it was written to encourage kids from such backgrounds to know that they too could be someone. So I try to use the element of, I call it edutainment. There's informative
education and entertainment together.
Yes, education and entertainment together to keep kids interested, because
That's the first book. The second?
The second book is called To Rangolo with Love, inspired of course by To Sir with Love, but in this case Rangolo is grandfather. I'm from Bobonong, so I'm a Mira. That's why I say Rangolo
Instead
not
of
Ntate, because I want to keep that element of my culture alive. So this book is about a young lady who now, because her parents worked hard, her grandfather worked hard to get her into good schools, she travels the world and she's doing amazing things that she's, beyond her dreams. So she's writing letters to her grandfather about her travels, because her grandfather has never been out of Botswana.
And the third book?
The third book is called Queen of Mayhem. So Queen of Mayhem was inspired by a brief stint that I had. I was working for a UN project in
It's
Zabo.
almost autobiographical, was it?
I wouldn't say that, but obviously, look, in everything that we write, there's an element of something that has happened to you that inspires you to create a story surrounding that.
Yes.
So yes, this was my first time when I was working for the UN. This was my first time now really learning about poachers, hearing stories from wildlife officers who would be in the bush for about 2 months. It was hunting down poachers and what really happens behind the scenes. And it also talks about a few societal ills. It addresses the issue of drugs, GBV, alcoholism, all those things. There you'll find that there are elements here and there, things that we don't talk about.
Okay, we've touched on the books you've written. What are the cons? I mean, you covered some of the pros.
Yeah, doing everything by yourself is a lot. First of all, going into self-publishing, you have to have saved money, because publishing is not pocket change. First of all, you need to know how much you're going to be spending on editing, how much you're going to be spending on graphics, how much you're going to be spending on the publishing process itself, getting the book out there. And then obviously you're costing your own book, and then you're marketing your own book, which is, I think that's where it's really difficult, because now the book is here. How do I give it to people? How do I sell it to people without them getting tired, without giving them that fatigue of every day reminding them there's a book. I have to come up with different ways of trying to sell it.
So what does it really mean to you to be a self-published author? What's the real meaning of that?
It just means I believe in my work enough to invest in it. So I can't put out work that is substandard and expect you to buy it. You need to see that obviously I believe so much in my work that I spend money on it, and I respect it. I respect the craft enough for me to sell it to you. That's what it means. It also means 100% ownership of my product, because when I sell like for example, this book is part of the literature syllabus now at the Botswana schools, especially in Orapa. I had to go pitch. I had to go pitch
to the CEO of
No, not the CEO. You go to the schools. The schools are the ones that buy these books, right? They're the ones that draw up the
So
syllabus.
you have to pitch to the students.
Not to the student. To the people who buy the books.
Namely the parents.
Who are the head teachers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The head teacher, you give them copies, and you pitch and then give them copies. You need to have those marketing copies. That's part of the way you get your books out there. And then they read it, and then if they're interested, they reach out to you. So for the past 3 years, they've been buying for their upper.
So have you been able to penetrate the market now?
I would say with schools, I've been successful with the Botswana ones. And then there's Saint Mary and Regent here in Gaborone. But I still need to make more pitches. But because of COVID, it's not easy to set up a meeting to come and make a pitch.
Talk to a potential buyer, to a potential decision maker. Talk to them, on this program. What is it about your books? What's the value add for all your books in general?
Look, like I said, because these books have a lot of element of edutainment, I think they're good for kids because they teach them the element of humility, they teach them appreciation, they teach them about our culture in a way that is entertaining to them through, because I call myself a storyteller, not a writer, because I believe any of these books can be turned into a play or a movie. So it's good for kids to read, especially the ones who are now in cities and don't know what really happens at the villages. So they can kind of sort of understand and know that they have privilege.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the things you believe is that companies should prioritize paying SMEs on time. Are you talking from bitter experience, and what have you got to share about that?
I wouldn't say it's bitter experience. I would say it's experience, but it's not bitter. I feel like what happens to SMEs is, because you spend your money to get a service, to render a service to a company, and then they tell you to wait 90 days. That's okay. You can make do, but after 90 days, you are following up. You are calling. You are taken from pillar to post, which it has an impact on you, on your motivation to keep working, because you have bills to pay at the end of the day. I mean, if we all did our part, I gave you a good service, and then you pay for the service, I'm able to now focus on other markets.
Do you find big companies generally drag their feet to pay SMEs?
Yes, from my experience and from experiences of other entrepreneurs that I know, yes, it happens a lot, and it will be shocking, because this will be companies that are making millions.
And what can be done to raise awareness and to convince these CEOs of these companies to change their tune?
I think a lot more of us need to speak out. Not name and shame, but speak out. There should be platforms where we can have, let's say, representatives from these companies and then entrepreneurs in general, just having a conversation. Especially the people with the decision making.
One of the things you believe, which we spoke about, is that you don't have to be rich to have an impact in the community. And clearly you are having a significant impact. Can you explain that thinking and that philosophy?
Oh, definitely. Because people feel that if I go into a field where, like charity, for example, that means I have a lot of money to spend on the shoes or on the pads, but that's not how it works. It's sort of like a motel in a way, because we depend on individuals with kind hearts. We depend on our own pockets. We depend on, like I said, CSR budgets. But it's us taking the time to go to the community, especially using social media platforms to encourage them. Because, for example, look at how the Nayang Association works. As a pair of school shoes right now is about 100 pula. A UB student can afford 100 pula, especially if they want to make a donation. But we don't usually receive cash. We want the school shoes. Only 100 pula makes a difference in a child's life.
So are Botswana becoming more giving? Do you think is there a shift towards charity?
I think Botswana have always been giving. I mean, if we look at how most of us were raised, if your father is the one who made it from the family, he's going to support the whole extended family. So it's
part
just
of
that,
Botu, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of Botu. It's part of our culture. It's just that it was expected of us, so we never.
Part of black tax as well.
Yeah. Oh God, black tax. Yes.
Do you have some views on black tax?
Luckily for me, I have a father who doesn't expect anything from me. He's done his work. He's retired. He's enjoying his retirement with his cattle there, and then he expects me to live my life.
Okay, you're an expert at social media, strong presence, and you hang out with the likes of, Mompoloki Makwana, people who are very, very potent, so to speak, on social media.
And Mira.
Now, talk about the use of social media pre, during, and post-COVID.
I think when we were just coming up, when Nayang was just coming up around about 2012, and then Facebook started the Facebook for Business. This was excellent for us because now we could reach the target market that we wanted, especially if we invested a bit of money into it. This is how we were able to get a lot of people get interested in our project because of platforms like those. And then I used that for the books as well. I've been lucky with social media, I think, because having been a journalist, I know how to create content. I know what will catch people's attention. So that has been very helpful, Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm not much of a Twitter person, unfortunately.
How does it work? You put your adverts on LinkedIn, and then what happens?
And then people just reach out. Because LinkedIn is a very good network to have, actually, even without sponsorship ads. You have people working at different companies, let's say Mogobe, for example, and then they'll reach out, they'll say, oh, we saw that the SA High Commission donated to your cause and you did this. How about we come have a sit down and see what we can do? So.
Okay, and how is your following currently, and what are your target numbers?
Well, our following currently, is it me with the business Nayang. Or just Nayang? Nayang has close to 14,000. It's over 14,000 on Facebook, and we haven't really targeted the likes to. We haven't promoted the page. We just promote the posts. So with us promoting the posts, obviously that drives attention.
And what is the ambition? You want to get to 100,000 or 1 million?
We're going to get to 1 million with time, because our plan is to expand. We're not just looking at Botswana. I mean,
Speaking of Botswana, of expansion, how do you get involved in the region, SADC, and are you aware of things like AFTA? Mechanisms like the Africa Continental Trade Area or Agreement, and are you using any of that?
I would say for me personally, because of the the networks that we've been able to build, especially with the South African High Commission, which we have a really good relationship with, both British High Commission, courtesy of the Chevening Scholarship.
Which scholarship?
Chevening, the one from the UK government. So what happens is they sponsor students across the world. So you have a network of people. If you want to go into the Zambia market, you have a Chevening scholar in Zambia. You have one in Zimbabwe. Or anywhere else where there is a British High Commission, you are able to penetrate that market because of that strong network that we have. So for me, that's been the most helpful one. And as I mentioned, Mayor Bogolo Kenoendo, she's one of the people.
Former Minister of Trade.
Yes. She's one of the people who advise us a lot because she's also a Chevening scholar. Part of the alumni group. So we're very lucky in that context.
Okay. And actual plans to go Continental?
Actual plans to go Continental, this is where now we bring back the focus to the shoe. We don't want the shoe to just be in Botswana. We want to go everywhere else, especially within the continent. We want it to be an African shoe, made in Botswana.
Now, in terms of shoes and as an item of clothing, are you wanting to expand from there, or it's shoes for life?
Well, I mean, the shoes will always be our main focus, but there's potential for growth, especially socks, stationery, school bags, the likes. The ones that I mentioned are actually in the pipeline. Okay.
And we talk about pre, during, and post-COVID. Link COVID to this social media talk. Help us understand.
Yeah. So what's happening now is, you can't have conferences. People are online. Everybody is online. Everybody is prioritizing online, which is great for us because now we are able to reach out to an even larger network than before. Before, if you wanted to tell people about Nayang, you'd have to go for a conference, find a space, be a panelist, or just be invited, and then network. But now you have that space to create more content on social media. You have that space to attend more conferences online, where more people are working from home, so they're able to be a part of the conference.
And so COVID has been a bit beneficial in some ways.
We had to make do. You adapt. There's nothing else you can do. So for us, it's been, I don't want to say beneficial, but it was a change, a welcome change.
Yeah. Speaking about yourself as an SME and obviously as a representative of a charity, it's important to diversify streams of income. So let's talk about creating multiple streams of income and how you have done that.
Okay. So when I published my first book, I was still working as a lecturer, and I was a researcher for Mo Abraham for the African Integrity Index study. So
wow, is that the one that decides the corruption index and so on?
Yes, that one. Yes, the one with global integrity. Yes,
the one that awarded our former president 5 million, as I recall.
Yes, that one. The Mo Abraham is the one that awarded him. But yes, I was doing research for them as a lead researcher for Botswana. So I had three jobs going on, and then also now I was heading the charity as well. Yes, and then I had 4 things going on at the time. So that means I had time to write when I got home from work, but I didn't have to be in a hurry to finish the writing process because I had a salary coming in end of the month, and then also focus on the charity as well. I didn't have to worry about rent, about, well, what will I eat, because I had, and then also the research
So
job.
how many side hustles did you have?
Okay, I was teaching media and communications, and then I was writing the book, and then obviously trying to market the charity, and then I was doing research for Mo Ibrahim at the time. At the time, so now fast forward to, let's say, my second book. My second book, I was working for the UN. But I was based all the way in Tabo. But because of social media, I was still able to play a part in the charity, still able to go visit these areas. I've seen different places like Boshorobe, then Maung, like places that I've never thought I'd go because of the charity. I was able to do that. So at the time I had 3 gigs going on. It was the UN, it was the second book, because every 2 years I publish a new book.
Wow.
That's
commendable.
Thank you. I try.
So how do you encourage those skeptics out there who don't believe in multiple streams of income, who are just stuck with the salary, with the 9 to 5?
Well,
8 to 5 in Botswana.
8 to 5. Yes. The thing is, I don't really subscribe to the ideal that we are all born to be entrepreneurs. Some people are perfectly happy with being 8 to 5 and working until they retire, and then they have a plan for their life, which is after they retire, that's when they'll enjoy their life. But there are people who are scared. There are people who want to do other things, but they're scared. They like the comfort that a salary gives them. Look, you can have plans. You can save money. You can save money for a whole year, like I did after I left the UN. But then a COVID strikes, and then that money that was supposed to be invested in your project goes towards sustaining your livelihood. You can never really be ready. You can never really be ready.
Ready to break out, to open your own business.
Yeah.
So don't wait until you're ready.
Don't wait. I mean, who says you'll be here tomorrow anyway? I think the biggest thing for me has always been legacy. Look, if anything happens to me tomorrow, the Nayang school shoe will continue. There are people who continue with it. The books will still be printed. I've left a legacy behind, even though I don't have children, but I mean, I consider every child my child, especially the ones that we help.
Indeed. So let's talk about networking, because I can see that you're a networker. What is your technique, and how do you approach networking?
I think I've decided to just be myself. I'm not I don't consider myself articulate or very confident, but I'm able to express myself. I had to force myself. Oh, thank you. I had to force myself out of a shell because I grew up a loner. This is why I'm a writer. That's a characteristic of most writers. But when you get to a point whereby you have a charity, you have to talk. You have to. So I started going to all these schools, doing motivational talks and giving the books to kids, and then attending all these. I don't know if you know the Global Entrepreneurship Network, the Botswana chapter.
Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, they just get entrepreneurs from different fields to just come and talk about their challenges and try to give them tips, and then also it's like a networking space for entrepreneurs to know what we are, what everybody is doing, so that when I need to buy books, I can go to Mompoloki. When I need to buy bricks, I know who to go to. So they set up that network, and it's there online for any entrepreneur who is interested. Global Entrepreneurship Botswana can always join. So things like that. attending. There's something called I Am Tomorrow Festival. It's a festival where they get women from different fields to come and talk about their challenges, and as well as try and build each other, confidence and things like that.
I've had a guest here before from Ghana
Yeah.
who made the statement which I want you to comment on. He said, collaborate, network, or die. What do you say about that?
I like that. I like that because God, I can't believe it's been 10 years. You'll see that there are people who come with shoe drives. They're different shoe drives. They come, maybe they do 2 schools and then they fade into oblivion. But we are here and we're saying, if you're
been around
interested,
for almost 10 years,
yeah,
right?
almost 10 years. We're here. If you need our assistance, just come to us. You know, if we work together, we're able to reach out to more kids and have much more of an impact. And
So networking is very crucial.
It's very crucial.
Okay. You collaborate with like-minded individuals instead of creating the same concepts in the same markets.
Yeah.
I want you to develop that idea a little bit further.
Okay. So let's say with the charity aspect, as I was saying, when it comes to things like shoe drives, we all want the kids to not walk to school on barefoot. So why not work together so that we can reach an even larger population that we can help? Instead of you going to a place that we've been to maybe 2 months ago, you know, if you reach out to us, we can help you get in touch with other schools that you can help. We can help you with ideas on how to keep your shoe drive going instead of like now giving up because you've seen the cons of being in the charity business.
So then, and use the internet obviously for that.
Mostly.
Okay.
I can't live without my laptop.
Okay, that's wonderful. People are suffocating from debt. The effects of COVID have been devastating. We here in our company, we feel the pinch. We've had to close some of our smaller companies. So from that, I want you to talk a little bit, because you say you are not alone.
Yeah.
And you want people who are out there, as an advocate for financial literacy, it's something you talk about. You say you're not alone. Unpack that for us.
Okay. So what I've realized about entrepreneurship, and this was even before I decided to branch out and do my own thing, was people share success stories. They don't share failures. No.
Nobody posts failures online.
Failures online. You get to experience that when you're in the thick of things. When the bank is calling you, when somebody else who you've borrowed money from, so that when you're still waiting for that invoice to be paid, is calling. Everybody's calling. There are different things that require money, and you know, you don't know what to do at that point. You don't talk to people because you feel like it's sort of like a taboo to talk about the fact that you are broke. Or you're challenged. You're challenged, financially challenged. I think it's important for us to share with aspiring entrepreneurs that look, the road is not going to be smooth.
Never was.
No. I think when somebody told me, after I told them my plan of writing the book and the process of selling it, I was like, within maybe 3-4 months I would have seen profits. And they were like, you know, most businesses are successful after about 2 years. I was like, that's not going to be me. But yeah, I experienced it. Yes.
Good thing you became successful.
I don't know if I'm successful as much as I want to be, but I definitely have a plan to get there.
So are you encouraging people to open up on their challenges, financial challenges?
Yes, because you know this has, it challenges your mental health. You know, you become depressed. You become depressed, and when you're depressed, you're not able to focus. And when you can't focus, then you don't get business out there, and then you don't get, your problems get even bigger.
They get to amplify.
Yeah, and sometimes you see that the problem that you think you have, when you speak to somebody about it, they give you good advice, and you're able, like something that you would have never even thought of. Then you're
But
able
does
to
Nayang
address.
help with any of that?
Nayang helps with some of it, because obviously as we grew, we learned that there are operational costs as well. Like, you can't just always be giving, you have to keep a little. For example, like the people who are the core of Nayang have an allowance for when we're traveling, for just to keep, for upkeep here and there, because we understand this is how you lose a lot of people, especially in the charity world. People now are focused on making money for their families, on making money for whatever it is that their lifestyle requires.
Okay. You believe in looking for learning opportunities. That's something that you spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about that in the context of setbacks. What would you say was the most significant setback you suffered, and what learning opportunities did you pick from that?
Yeah. Well, I can give an example of something that I picked up from the UN job that I'm now using for Nayang, as a strategy for Nayang. When I was working for the UN, I was doing communications, gender mainstreaming, and monitoring and evaluation. So monitoring and evaluation, this was for a project.
Yes.
I realized just how much of an impact it has in keeping up with the progress of your project, and maybe adapting or changing certain things that are not working. And that's something that we were not applying to our charity. So I got more and more interested in monitoring and evaluation, and I did even more courses online, paid for them, of course, from my pockets, because I felt like it was important. This was not just for the UN, it would benefit Nayang. Yeah, and it really is, because every 3 months or so we check where we are, where we're going wrong, what we can improve, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
All of that online.
So what was the huge setback, and how did you get out of it then?
I'd say the huge setback in terms of the charity is because now COVID was affecting a lot of CSR budgets. We had to, like I said, now come up with something else, which was the shoe, because we could no longer wait for April so that we can get a yes or a no. But when you have something that is tangible, that kids will
April
always need
as
shoes.
as in end of government financial year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we could no longer do that. We wanted to grow bigger, and also we wanted something tangible that we could sell at any time. Kids will always need shoes. That's a fact.
Okay. And going back to the shoes again, since you brought them up, what do they retail at, and where does one get them?
Okay, so the shoes retail at $250, and we'll be getting them into stores that I will publish on my social media. Yeah.
So you're still negotiating with the right stores?
Well, we're not negotiating. We're almost there. We're almost there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that we need to agree on certain.
And until
prices.
then, where does one get the shoe?
Until then, they can just reach out to us. We have a page called the Nayang School Shoe, which is just for the school shoe itself. But then if they can't, this is on Facebook. If they can't, they can use my WhatsApp. I just give that WhatsApp out so that it's easier for people to communicate. Should I?
No, we will share that at the end.
All right.
But the one thing I wanted to ask you, you have a concept of being a wholesome entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What is your definition of wholesome entrepreneurship, and how do you become one?
Okay, so I'm currently an incubatee at the Stanbic Accelerate program. This is where they teach you as an entrepreneur how to access different markets, how to they teach you financial literacy as well as they help you market whatever product is there, making sure that you have a commercial strategy, all those different things. So that when let's say you hire somebody to do your books for you, you still know how to do the books.
So you can check them.
So you can check them, because you need to be on top of everything that's happening, especially if you are going to associate your name and your brand on it.
And still, I want to know how you become a social entrepreneur.
Okay. Well,
I mean, a wholesome entrepreneur. I beg your pardon.
Wholesome entrepreneur, because you know your product from beginning to end. You're involved in all the stages, and you are leading, because this is your dream. This is your product. You don't expect other people to
be as knowledgeable as you are.
Yes. I mean, obviously you can't be an expert at everything, but you need to at least know what they mean when they say audit, or what they mean when they say KYC, different things.
Okay. Now let's take a crystal ball and stare into the future, and you give us an idea of what you see 5, 10, even 20 years for Nayang and for yourself.
Okay. For Nayang, I see obviously a sustainable charity that is wholly dependent on what we've built, especially with the shoe, and like I said, the things that are going to come after the shoe, the socks, the stationery, the school bags. And I also see a very successful shoe manufacturing plant that will not only be selling school shoes to Botswana but the continent. And for me personally, I see a travel blog, because that's my hobby. I travel. I like discovering new places, especially within Botswana, and sharing them with people. Like, I'm very obsessed with Balaka and Muhonye, places like that are not popular. So I see myself doing that, and I see myself traveling a lot to see what other charities are doing, so that I always come back and have new ideas for Nayang. I see Nayang also mentoring other aspiring social entrepreneurs.
Is Nayang is a foundation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's registered officially and everything.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay. And currently you are manufacturing from where? Because I heard you say you want to establish a manufacturing plant.
South Africa. Yes, but like I said, that's a temporary thing. We just finished the feasibility study for our shoe manufacturing plant, so the projections are there. We know how much we need, we know the type of machinery that we need, everything. The plan is there.
So what you looking for, warehouses, or you looking for cedar, or what are you looking?
We're looking for money. We're looking for money because everything else we've spotted. Like I said, for me it's very important that I give back to my community, which is why I would want the plant to be in Pikwe. Pikwe is only 60 kilometers from Bobono. Okay. So I'd like to do something for Babira.
Miss Madibana, this is where you now get to ask me a question. Shoot.
Yes. 11 companies. You own over 11 companies. How do you maintain that family and work life?
Well, there are two strategies here. One is to get the family involved in the companies as well. One of the companies, Clean Cities and Towns, is run full-time by my wife. I'm part of it, but she's there. My son is part of Mogobe Incorporated. He works here. The other two are still at school, and so the idea is to get them involved as much as possible. And then, of course, you're not relying on yourself.
Yeah.
You're relying on a good team. So I delegate a lot, but I try to pick in and see what's going on. We're now trying to consolidate a lot of our activities under one physical location, because we used to be in Commerce Park and Extension 10. We're now trying to get all our entities under Mogobe Plaza in one area to make it easier to manage. Great. So the idea is just to be interested and to keep meeting exciting people such as yourself, and to keep our level of curiosity high.
Yeah.
And not claim to be the be-all or the experts, and just to be continual students, because we like absorbing data, acquiring information, impartation of knowledge, and through that, then you stay curious and you stay involved. That's how we do it, really.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I think there's a lot to learn. I think maybe the one thing that we have in common is the legacy aspect, that we don't, should something happen to Mr. Mogobe, God forbid, there are people who will keep Mogobe enterprises going.
We have a good team, and we pray to God that He may continue to protect us. This is a part of the show where you now look at that camera there. You see it?
Yeah.
You have to motivate that person who's watching you, leave them with something powerful, something they can hang on to, a message of hope and inspiration.
All right. I think my message for anybody watching is something that we've already covered, which is that you really don't have to be rich in order to make an impact. I know some people want to wait until they make a certain amount of money before they give to charity. But listen, there are kids out there, it's winter, who don't have winter clothing. So even your old jersey, your old bedding that you use is something that they need right now. Even 100 pula can get a child a pair of school shoes. So don't believe that you have to have a certain amount of money in order for you to help your neighbor.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Can you share your contact details on social media, where people can reach you?
Okay. My personal page is Kagiso Madibana on Facebook. And then we have the Nayang Association. Please like and share, because we needed to reach out more people. And then we have the Nayang school shoe, if you're interested in knowing more about it. All the information is there. We are very active. We are also on LinkedIn, but that's my personal page, that's Kagiso Madibana. If you want to reach out to me or the association, there's a WhatsApp number that we use. It's 74328265.
Okay. Let me just say thank you very much. I recognize you. I appreciate you. I like what you're doing. And I think you're a source of tremendous motivation for people like myself, and obviously for other people who follow you on social media. Keep on doing what you're doing. I'm very much encouraged, and you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. This was a learning experience.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.